प्रभु को सौंप दे तू सारा जीवन। देख प्रभु तेरे निकट विराजे, ओ देख प्रभु तेरे निकट विराजे, कर ले अभिवादन। ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। परमानंद का अनुभव करो, परमानंद का अनुभव कर तू धन्य बना जीवन। ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। ज्योति बिंदु के प्रेम सिंधु में चल आज निहाले, परम पिता का प्रेम पात्र बन कर तू शुभ वर पाले। किरण किरण को निरख नयन से, ओ किरण किरण को निरख नयन से, को जा मन में मगन। ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। परमानंद का अनुभव कर, ओ परमानंद का अनुभव कर तू धन्य बना जीवन। ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। अब चल कर ले मिलन। प्रभु की प्राप्ति का मूल मंत्र है संपूर्ण समर्पण। है आत्मा चल प्रभु को सौंप दे तू सारा जीवन। देख प्रभु तेरे निकट विराजे, ओ देख प्रभु तेरे निकट विराजे। कर ले अभिवादन ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से। है मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले मिलन। अब चल कर ले मिलन। अब चल कर ले मिलन। परमानंद का अनुभव करो, परमानंद का अनुभव कर तू धन्य बना जीवन। ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से। है मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले मिलन। अब चल कर ले मिलन। अब चल कर ले मिलन। ज्योति बिंदु के प्रेम सिंधु में चल आज निहाले। परम पिता का प्रेम पात्र बन कर तू शुभ वर पाले। किरण किरण को निरख नयन से, ओ किरण किरण को निरख नयन से। को जा मन में मगन ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से। है मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले मिलन। अब चल कर ले मिलन। अब चल कर ले मिलन। ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से। है मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले मिलन। अब चल कर ले मिलन। अब चल कर ले मिलन। परमानंद का अनुभव कर, ओ परमानंद का अनुभव कर तू धन्य बना जीवन। ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा। अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। प्रभु की प्राप्ति का मूल मंत्र है संपूर्ण समर्पण। है आत्मा चल प्रभु को सौंप दे तू सारा जीवन। देख प्रभु तेरे निकट विराजे, ओ देख प्रभु तेरे निकट विराजे। कर ले अभिवादन ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा। अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। परमानंद का अनुभव करो, परमानंद का अनुभव कर तू धन्य बना जीवन। ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा। अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। ज्योति बिंदु के प्रेम सिंधु में चल आज निहाले। परम पिता का प्रेम पात्र बन कर तू शुभ वर पाले। किरण किरण को निरख नयन से, ओ किरण किरण को निरख नयन से। को जा मन में मगन ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा। अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। का मूल मंत्र है संपूर्ण समर्पण है। आत्मा चल प्रभु को सौंप दे सारा जीवन। देख प्रभु तेरे निकट विराजे, ओ देख प्रभु तेरे निकट विराजे, कर ले
We are ready to begin. We'll have a viewing of the body shortly. May I ask for everyone to have a seat. as we're here today to celebrate the life of Dhanraj Roopnarine, fondly known as Danny, Mr. Roop, I'd like to say a short prayer to open. Dear God in heaven, through Christ, we ask for your comfort and peace to surround us, now and in the days and weeks ahead. We've come together in our grief, acknowledging our loss. I pray that throughout this funeral service, we will fondly remember Uncle Dan, Danny, Mr. Roop. May the love that we have for him continue on as we live out the best of who he was in our lives. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. I was asked to give a eulogy this morning. For those who know me, my name is Amanda. I am the niece of Uncle Dan. Huh? Okay, gotcha. Okay, everybody's hearing, right? All right. So for those who don't know me, I am Amanda. Well, Uncle Dhanraj is my mother's brother. My mother passed away some time ago. And I call him, hello. Hello, assistants. Is it a laptop? Is it a laptop? All right. Yeah, what to do? I'm in front a little bit so I can see a bit about that information. Right. So, like I said before, Uncle was my adopted father. So they asked me to say a few words and share with those some of the stories of his life. So I will try this morning to do my best and capture that the best way possible. So today we've all come to celebrate the remarkable life of Dhanraj Roopnarine. He was a loving father, husband, brother, cousin, uncle, counselor, chief, friend, and so much more to each and every one that he met. I've tried to find the words to describe Uncle Dan, as he was known to me, but to be honest, I really cannot find the words because simple words such as generous, compassionate, and kind does not even begin to describe the type of man that he was or the genuinity of this man's soul. Uncle Dan was born on the 5th of November 1970, growing up in, hello? Yeah. Manikou Trace in Tableland, and that was no minor endeavor. He and his siblings, they knew the hardships of studying by flambeau. You know, they grew up in a farming type of community, you know, seeing their mother sacrifice to send every one of them to school, even though she herself could not read and write. Each and every one of them was able to break the cycle of poverty that they grew up in and ensure that the next generation did not have the problems of the last. As a matter of fact, this is what my grandmother ensured, that they remained with, and in turn, every one of them helped their families and one another to prevent the plight of poverty in the future. I remember my mother, his late sister, boasting to me how intelligent Uncle Dan was. She would say he was the brightest of the 12 siblings. She would even laugh and tell the story of how Uncle Dan, with his carefree nature, would play the fool a little bit in school. So anybody who know Uncle Dan know he liked to make jokes, and that was just who he was. So he was playing the fool in school. And grandma went in school and find out this boy playing the fool and not studying his work. Well, here we're going. She passed one cocktail on him. And here what's going on. After that, after 60, man passed all his 7 passes at St. Stephen's College. After that, most of them decided to leave south and come up east to try to seek better opportunities for employment. And Uncle Dan joined the prison service in 1990. He wrote the exams to prison only to be told that he scored first in the entry-level exam. Being in the prison service was his passion. He worked countless hours to ensure that he was above board in everything that he did. But then again, one could argue that Uncle Dan was always above board in everything that he did. Everything that he did was just always with thought and care. He only continued to build his intelligence by pursuing his associate degree, then his master's, graduating with first-class honors. When he described how he studied, I would just be in complete awe, not just at the work ethic, but the passion in which he spoke, how he described, he would say, I'd feel own class, and I've seen all of these young people, and I'm thinking, who am I to sit down with these young people? What do I know? But yet, he always managed to gain the respect of his peers in school. And I'd say to myself, I was like, boy, mom was right, boy. This man real bright. And I would tell him so, but he would just chuckle. He would say, well, don't worry, he'll try to shake it off. Because, he was always humble. He never boasted about his accolades. Looking at Uncle Dan, one would never know that he was intelligent, nor that he was even in the prison service. He was always so quiet and humble. It was astonishing. So time to share a bit of my interactions with Uncle Dan, which I've already shared some. So my mom was the first to pass away, and quite sudden as well. So I was 16 at the time, and I only knew my mother's will. And I had to sit with my uncle and tell him that my mother's wishes was for him to take care of me and my sister. Mind you, this man had just gone through a great ordeal with his own family. Ajay was not well at the time, and he was now coming out of it. And Uncle Dan was at the time the only breadwinner of the family. Uncle Dan took that up without any question. He stood by my sister and my side. I watched this man build a place for us. So the place downstairs here was one of the things that he did to give us a space to live. And he told his wife, and he agreed, and that's why I say Uncle Dan and Auntie Mish are very dear to me. They took me in, and my sister in, when the world was against us. And up till this day, he stood by my side. So no matter how old I got, Uncle Dan was just, that type to always say, Amanda, anything you want, anything you need, call me. And then he would tell all of us nieces and nephews, every time you see him, oh, look, my favorite niece, or look, my favorite nephew. But the reality is, there was no real favorite. But I like to think I was the favorite, though, I just say. It would be selfish to say that it was only me he helped. Many members of the family could attest to Uncle Dan swooping down like a guardian angel to lend assistance in any way that he can. His car was one of those of when you saw it pulling into the driveway, you know it was to bring calm to the storm. It was always good to see his car in a crisis. In general, not only was he generous, but he was rather hilarious. So Auntie Mish say, this is how she said yes to this man. The man come home, drunk like a fish, liming with Uncle Harry, a day in the evening, and she say, tell her, he say, well, you want to get married? You get married now? And of course, the lady said yes. How many years later, he used to make a joke. He used to say, so who more mad? The drunk man who asked you? Or the sober lady who said yes? You never know. But they were a perfect couple. Regardless, Uncle was always a family man. True to his word, he stood by his wife and children to his last breath, telling my aunt, happy birthday, just before. I think it was at 12 in the morning. He would encourage Auntie Mish to pat herself on the back every time she made progress in overcoming her ailments, which she had a few within the last year or so. He was most proud of his children, though, always talking about Priya's accomplishments, her pursuit of education. He would boast, my child doing A-levels and Lakshmi Girls, and, she want to do this degree and that degree. He would talk about RJ joining the service, and, you would see his eyes light up every time he talked about his kids. He could not be more proud of them both. He was always a positive influence on the family, and I had to share this one. I think many of the ways that he proved this was his journey of quitting alcohol with his sisters and brothers back in 2000 and joined Alcoholics Anonymous. And whilst he began the journey with his other siblings, he continued to help others and other families in overcoming the challenges associated with alcohol and obtained the nickname Super Sponsor because he sponsored so many families in helping them overcome this illness. He used to tell me he had found his passion in counseling and would drive sometimes what we call behind God back just to reach persons to assist them. I won't say much more on this except to know that Uncle Dan's dream was to further counsel and assist persons, especially going into pre-retirement leave. I would always jokingly say, Uncle, I want to be on the list too. He was really focused on making a positive change. He would check and be proud of the landmark decision he took 23 years ago. Along with his positive influence on his family and his work, he was a big influence as well. He carried about himself in an impeccable manner. Known as Mr. Rope on Work, he helped many and deeply loved his job. He would always be light-hearted, and some of them could remember Uncle Dan saying, well, when they come to ask Uncle Dan for a little time off, well, sing a little chutney for my first now. When I get a little time off, I know the colleagues laughing in the background there. Yes, I got that story too. All in all, he was an excellent chief, sometimes working 7 days a week to get the job done. With all his accomplishments, he still remained a humble man, always dancing to his favorite Indian tunes. And his favorite animated shows were Tangled, Frozen, and Moana. He loved Elsa. He found joy in the simple things in life. The Indian tunes while he cooking in the morning, the way he would shake his waist to a favorite tune. This man looked like he never had a trouble in the world and was always calm and steady, no matter what was going on in his life. I could go on and on about a man who lived only about 53 years on the planet, but I know we had to wrap up. So I will end with a quote from Joyce Meyer that he always shared with Auntie Vidi. Worry is like rocking in a rocking chair all day because it keeps you busy, but it gets you nowhere. Thank you. I would like to invite to the stage Mr. Maniram Prasad from Procurement to say a couple of words this morning. Mr. Prasad.
Morning, everyone. I would have had the pleasure of working with Mr. Roopnarine over a period. Morning, everyone. I would have the pleasure of working with Mr. Roopnarine for the past 5 years at the procurement department. He was a wonderful individual, always there for officers, always meeting you halfway. I mean, what more? He will be truly missed at the department, at the service. He's a great loss to the service. He was just a wonderful individual to work with.
I'd like to invite to the stage Mr. Ford, Deputy Commissioner, prisons.
Thank you very much. And good morning to all. Mrs. Roopnarine, Ajay, Priya, to his siblings, other family members, members of the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service, retired members of the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service. I want to thank his family, especially Mrs. Roopnarine, for giving us your husband. In our service, when you join as a member, when you graduate, you're actually submerged into the water of our service. And being under there, it's usually very challenging because you have to learn to breathe underwater, find your way, develop relationships, sometimes come up, take a breath, go back down. It could be suffocating. But what happens is that during that period, persons will emerge, others will not. And Mr. Roopnarine emerged. And he emerged as a tower of an individual. While in its earlier years, little might have been known about him, his emergence was evident in our procurement department. And it is ironic that he passed around this time of the year, because this is our busiest time for the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service. The ministry places a lot of demand on the person who is at the helm of the procurement department. Independence Day, there are lots of things to be gotten. But through it all, Mr. Roopnarine was that pivot. Mr. Roopnarine, with his calm demeanor, with his unassuming personality, when he's reporting for duty, just strolling across, going to his office. And most persons did not know the pressure that was placed on this individual. I do not know, I've never worked there, but I do not know if when he comes home or when he retired to his home, if he used to, select choice words or cry out to his wife. But that department was the helm of our service, because everything that is needed in the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service, Mr. Roopnarine was responsible for getting. So you can imagine how deep that is. And he had a team that worked with him tirelessly. And you obviously could have felt that love when the officer came and could only utter a few words. Such was the love for Mr. Roopnarine. Mr. Roopnarine will surely be missed. Surely be missed. And few persons can actually fill the shoes that he walked in. I remember the day of his retirement, the Commissioner of Prisons, Mr. Caraspi, indicated that Mr. Roopnarine must not leave our service like others did. So he was called to the commissioner's office the day after, and we had somewhat of an exit interview and asked him, to just go back and how he would have dealt with a lot of issues that he was faced with. On the completion of that, Mr. Karaspi asked him one question, and that question was, what now? And the response shook me. Because with everything he had given to our service, he said, I will now go and take care of my wife. And that is the first time it was revealed to me that he was dealing with a whole lot more than just the Trinidad and Tobago prison service. He was passionate in the way he said it. I am going to go and take care of my wife. Most persons, after they retire, they think about having a jolly good time. This is what he wanted to do. Unfortunately, that did not turn out to be the reality. But I can say that even in his death, we are to rejoice. We are to rejoice, and we have to learn lessons. We have to rejoice as a service and family because we had an individual that few can compare to. We had an individual that gave the Trinidad and Tobago prison service years of human service, long hours, and every time you call, Roop, yes sir, I need to find out something, yes sir. We need to organize something, yes sir. And that is the individual that we had. But we also must learn that dedication is not something you display like that. Love for family can be quiet. You don't have to shout it. And more importantly, is that Mr. Roopnarine cared so much for everyone. And when I say everyone, clearly the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service, his family, his niece, and other family members, that he gave of himself. And we too can do that. And we don't need to shout at the top of the mountain. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great loss. And I cannot say how much of a loss in terms of laying it out, but it's a great loss. Because he was willing to advise us on procurement practices. He was willing to advise us on everything that he would have learned. And he would have built several relationships over his years in the service. So much so that there were suppliers who weren't willing to do any business with the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service. And he reached out to them and got them to deliver things that we need. Could you imagine a service or a prison without food for inmates? what can happen? Mr. Roopnarine and his team ensured that our service, our prison, stayed afloat. He was a giant of a man. Mrs. Roopnarine, RJ, Priya, thank you very much for loaning him to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ford, for sharing all of that with us. I'd like to invite to the stage Priya Roopnarine to share a few words about her dad.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. For those who may not know me, my name is Priya Roopnarine, and I'm the daughter of Dhanraj Roopnarine. I would just like to say a few words on my family's behalf to the best of my ability. Dad, I stand here today still in shock at what has occurred over the past week. Right now, I am feeling a little anxious speaking publicly, to which you would simply state, don't be anxious. I used to think that wasn't good advice, but I would give anything to hear that now. I'm not going to stand here and say that life is unfair or the next few years will be my hardest, because you would be disappointed to hear that. You would always say that when you die, you must never grieve. It's okay to cry, but not to grieve. Pick yourself back up and move on. It's easier said than done, but for you, Dad, I will do my best. I promise to take care of Mom, Ajay, Teddy, that's my dog, and myself, and ensure that we remain happy. I will say, though, that I will miss you very much. All our daddy-daughter dates, all our family life, going to the mall for Christmas, and most importantly, our movie nights. I am glad, however, that you were able to experience one last movie night before your passing. I'm also happy that I was able to hug you and tell you how much I love you, even if I didn't know that that would be my last time seeing you. I remember just last year you were screaming my name as I crossed the stage for my graduation. And every year for the prison service Diwali program, you would tear up as they announced my name to dance. And when they would mention that I'm your daughter, you would brag to everyone. I also remember the time that you ordered doubles for me and said to the man, can I have a doubles with slight chana? And the guy responded, you mean slight pepper? And you said, no, slight chana, just because I was a picky eater. That just goes to show that you will do anything for this family, even if it means embarrassing yourself. Even when the cousins and I would make limes, you would always make noodles or macaroni salad for me, just to ensure that I had something to eat. If it's one thing though, thank you for teaching me to make noodles and stew chicken. I am certain now that I can survive because everybody knows I can eat that dish every day. Writing this speech, I still feel as though I am in a nightmare, and any moment now I'll wake up. It's difficult to face the reality of everything, but I will not sulk over it. Not a day has passed without you saying how proud you are of me, and I do hope that I continue to make you proud for the rest of my life. It's been a few days now that I haven't been in your presence, and it feels as though a void has been created that can never be filled. We would always go feed Teddy together on evenings, which would be the highlight of my day. Friday evening, I had to tell Teddy, just expect me from now on. I also remember how you would always shorten words that were not supposed to be shortened. For example, if we need apples, he would tell me, pick up some apps, not apples. Because apparently that's how the young people speak nowadays. And he was trying to be trendy. You promised that you would be here for me every time I'm coming home for lunch to open the gate, but that promise has been broken. But that's okay because I promised to make coffee for you every night, but I too have broken that promise. There are not enough words that can explain my love for you or the bond we shared, but I'm happy that I will have unforgettable memories that I can tell your grandkids one day. I will ensure that your legacy goes on and that no one forgets your name until the day I die. Whenever I travel to different countries, I will never forget how you would always tear up over the phone. And when I confronted you, you would always say, I is a big prison officer. I'm not crying for anybody. Just before you break down crying. I must say though, thank you for giving me advice that has molded me into the strong and intelligent woman that I am today. I've experienced a lot of adversities in life, but you have helped me out of every single one. The worst part is that you spent your entire life helping persons, and at that moment, no one was able to help you. I do promise that I will make this into a celebration of the incredible legacy that you have left behind, being such an industrious and forgiving individual who would have killed for his family. All of us stand here today because of your sacrifices, such as working overtime until 7 o'clock in the night, and I am sad that you wouldn't be able to reap the fruits of your hard labor. I hope you know how amazing you are in every way, and I will continue telling you every day. So do note that I will still be harassing you. It's obvious that you can't be a daddy's girl without the perfect father. And everyone knows that I am the biggest daddy's girl there is. But you weren't just a father to me. Everyone that is here at this moment, you have aided in some way or acted as a father figure in their lives. And for that, all we can say is thank you. I must say I'm grateful to all my family members and friends who have continued to show their unconditional love and support for my family at this time. I would also like to extend a heartfelt thanks to the prison service, Mr. Ford as well, to take time that have taken time out of their busy schedule for my father's passing. I just wanted to say, I would just like to say to everyone that this demonstrates just how short and unexpected life is, and it can be taken away at any time. Always remember to never take advantage of your loved ones and enjoy the simplest things, even before you retire. You may have heard it 1,000 times, but it's true. You really never realize just how much your life revolves around someone until they are gone. You have served your purpose on this earth, Dad. You saved the lives of so many persons that you cannot imagine, even your own daughter. It may have been too early for us, but you have always talked about missing your mom and your siblings, and I know that all of you are looking down at us now, smiling. So on behalf of Mom, Ajay, and I, we would just like to say that we love you with all our hearts, and that we are proud of the man you are. Know that I didn't use the past tense, because I know that you are still here with us, and we will never stop loving you. But I know that heaven just gained another angel. Thank you.
Right. I'd like to invite Miss Alice to the stage to say a few words. Mr. Alice. Sorry, Mr. Alice. My apologies.
Morning, everyone. I guess everyone's hearing me, right? Um, I never thought, well, this is his name. I never thought speaking in front of an audience would be difficult. But this one is speaking this morning about my good friend, my good brother, Danny. I don't know that I never knew Danny prior to 2000. I would have liked to meet him. I heard stories about him. But I met him in Alcoholics Anonymous when he came in. And he was always vibrant. He was, those who knew him back then, every night was meeting. With however much people could fit in the car, not only along the East-West corridor, Central, South, all over. It got to the stage where any meeting you go to, any part of the country, and you say Danny, they would know who it is. And I'm not talking over a long period of time, just a couple of months. He came to me one time and he said, I want you to be my sponsor. I said, okay. Now I've heard many people came to me before that and asked the same question. He said, yeah, I want you to be my sponsor. I said, all right. So when you're ready, you come to me again and we go arrange something. And that was the last I heard about that for a while. And every time we meet in a meeting, he goes stutter through an excuse. I'll come and check you. I'll come and check you. We do that about a couple times well, until eventually he came to me and he told me, I'll come and check you. And I said, stop. I say, you want what I have or I want what you have? And that was it. We started to work together. You know, people just talk about courage. To do what an individual does, like Danny, like those of us who choose to follow the AA way of life. It's not an easy thing. I spoke to someone once and I said, this is what I had to do. And they said, Ellis, I would never do that. I talk about a non-member. They said they would never be able to go to individuals and make amends, especially when they are the people who started it. See, all right. But I think the most difficult one is to write down things about yourself that you don't want anybody to find out about. All your secrets that you want to go to your grave with, nobody mustn't find out about it. That in itself is difficult. But the really, really difficult part is to go to somebody and tell them that. To share everything. Because without that, it have no freedom. We come to understand that today. We are sick as we secrets. That's something I learned in this program of Alcoholics Anonymous. And no matter how much I want to, the things that burning inside, I ought not to keep it, and I'll try my best not to keep it. And he was a shining example of that. It had a certain part where he stopped, he couldn't go on. And I needed to share part of my life, to give him a little push. To let him know it's all right, you could go ahead, partner. And after that, there was no turning back for him. Anyone who wanted, not needed, because this does only work when you want it. Anyone who wanted help and he came to him, he was only too glad to share with them, to spend time with them. Downstairs here, I've seen a lot of us come and go. because he did a lot of work here. And after the COVID, he did a lot of work online. That was his real passion. I believe that was his real calling, to help others. That is our true purpose, to help another human being. I used to believe that finding happiness, that was the main thing, but that is not the main thing. The main thing is to help another human being, to be kind. I know it's the byproduct of being kind. Happiness. I don't know how many of you know this. That was the best one at my wedding. Even RJ shocked, he didn't know that. We have a lot of history. We spend a lot of time sharing with one another. Long before now, years before. Before Julie and Michelle was an item. I was doing one finger there. You know, so whenever Julie says, I had to see Michelle or I had to talk to Michelle, it's obvious I had to drive up there. I don't think I ever had, not I don't think, I've never had someone so close to me, not even family, or family included actually, as Danny. He was a firm believer in spirituality. He was a seeker of knowledge, a seeker of truth. That is another thing we have in common. We don't believe in any particular faith. I don't know what will happen. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know where he's going. I never went there. And people who went there never get the opportunity to tell me that. But I believe in my heart that the deeds that you do or how you choose to live your life determines where you go after. Firmly believe that. I want to read something for you all before. It wouldn't take long. When he died on Friday, this was the daily reading, right? Bringing the message home. Can we bring the same spirit of love and tolerance into our sometimes deranged family lives that we bring to our AA group? My family members suffer from the effects of my disease. Loving and accepting them as they are, just as I love and accept AA members, fosters a return of love, tolerance, and harmony to my life. Using common courtesy and respecting others' personal boundaries and necessary practices for all areas of my life. And that was the individual. He would try to follow that. Give people their space, help in any way he could, go above and beyond for anyone who asks for the help. You know, I have a line from a poem that says, we all have, or every human being has, two lives. And the second one begins when we realize we only have one. Take me a little while to comprehend that, or to understand that. And all I had to do is look back at my life and the way I was living. I reached to the point where we don't want to live like that anymore. And we want to change. We want to do better. We want to mean something. We want to have purpose. And that is where the change has come about. That is what has encouraged us to be better people. He wasn't just a good member of the prison service. He wasn't just a good father or a good husband. Danny was a great human being. And I will miss him. And I love him. Right? Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. I'd like to invite Shane to the stage. Say a few words.
Pleasant good morning, teacher and everyone. Never in my wildest dreams I would have expected to be here. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are gathered not only to mourn, but to celebrate the life of an extraordinary individual, a mentor, a colleague, and a friend. Dhanraj Roopnarine, fondly called Danny by many and by his group, the Dabadi Group, Guru. Danny's physical absence has left a void that cannot be filled by any one person. His spirit, his teachings, and memories continue to inspire us in the fellowship of the Spirit. Danny, as he is fondly called, was a man of extraordinary intellect, of unwavering dedication, and of boundless kindness. His work was just not as a colleague, he was a mentor, a guiding light. His work was not just a passion, it was a mission, it was a calling. His professional accomplishments was vast and impressive. He was a visionary and a trailblazer, a leader. Under his guidance, our group overcame challenges and reached heights we could only dream of. His strategies were innovative and leadership inspirational. I remember a time when I was facing a challenge, and his determination and characteristic calm led me to become a better me through his work and boundless service to not only his group, but to many groups and intergroups throughout Trinidad. He was a lover of books, and not just pages filled with words. They are mirrors reflecting life, windows opening to the world, doors leading to wisdom, and a way of life. Now, as we bid farewell to Danny, for your guidance and support, for your wisdom, thank you for the lessons, thank you for the memories, thank you for the inspiration. Thank you for being a mentor, our colleague, and friend. Your physical presence may be absent, but your spirit lives on. Your teachings continue to guide us. Your memories continue to inspire us, and your legacy continues to shine. Rest in peace, dear Danny. You will always be remembered. You will always be missed and forever treasured. Your spirit, your wisdom, and your love will forever shine in our hearts from all of us in the fellowship of the Spirit. Thank you all.
I'd like to ask, thank you, firstly, Shane, for sharing those words of wisdom and about Uncle Dan. Want to invite Vishnu to the stage?
Good morning. Well, you heard the name Vishnu. Good morning, Sitaram. Assalamu alaikum. Normally not too much of a speech maker, but when Michelle asked me, I said, well, yes, I'll have to say something. Friday morning, 6:30, Michelle called uncontrollably, and she couldn't tell me what she wanted to tell me. So I called her back. And she said, Danny dead. I said, what? I live right up about 5 minutes away. I went over to the hospital, and they were crying. And I just went back to the wall, and I just like watching in a dream. This was a shocker, you know. It was really a shocker to everybody, you know. I'm a little nervous right now, but I had to stay strong. And I went back home, and when I went back home, I'm like, is this a dream I in, boy? Is that it? Is it a dream? I remember when he had meetings, Danny was saying, I think it was about 6 months ago, Sati. He said he had a clean bill of health. And I don't know. I don't know. I go to Mrs. He's my sponsor. I was his first sponsor. I'm a member of the fellowship also. And I really, really gonna miss him. I just can't believe it. But that's like to let him know I'm a member of the WDA group also. And Danny boy, we carrying on the meeting tonight. We used to support each other. And he led me through. After drinking, it's not about drinking anymore. And I had challenges in life, and Danny really, really, really helped me out. You say if you go into heaven, well, in my belief, heaven and hell is right here. That is my belief. But boy, the amount of people, somebody said it before, the amount of people he sponsored in the fellowship, they really call him King Sponsor. And I used to be a little jealous. He said, well, maybe not everybody could sponsor whatever. And I said, but I know the program and I want to do sponsorship too. He said, yeah, but not every. He said, but what I could tell you, you good in bringing people into the fellowship. He would have been 24 years in November. I met him back in 2002. So I'm 20 years away from the drink. And he would have been 24. Ellis, I went to Ellis and I approached him for sponsorship in the earlies. And because of the way he was living down in Sawa, I said, boy, you know what? I feel like watching this boy, but what happens, that's in the fellowship, when you go around to meetings and stuff, they say you watch people and see somebody who you think that you want to be a sponsor. And I started watching Danny. I said, boy, Ellis, boy, I go choose Danny instead. And he said, well, go ahead. Because he living up here, Samara Village. You know what it is I got to find out? Ellis is Danny's sponsor. I said, well, I'm in good hands. I'm in real good hands. So after that, boy, we came close. RJ and Priya, Michelle, I just wonder if I remember the Toko limes. The Toko lime, but I know RJ. Oh boy, Priya, everybody, I know them 20, well, I know them 20 years and something now. And it's just very simple words. The man was just genuine. He helped me in other areas in the life too. Michelle knows about that. I'd just like to finish by saying, I only think about it last night. And I've been noticing this years. At funerals and weddings, that is why when you just see everybody, your family or whoever and whoever, you don't see a lot of people. I don't want to say a percentage. You don't see a lot of people after. So I just want to ask tonight, hear me tonight, this morning, that after today, if there's anything, take numbers. Call your people. I lost my two parents about 10 years ago. And call your people. Be close to them. Make a phone call once a week and see how they're going. Finish now by saying, because you never know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vishnu. I'd like to ask to the stage his siblings, Uncle Mohan. Actually, I understand you all want to say a few words.
Good morning to each and everyone, and Sitaram also. To the family, to my brother. I'm the, out of the seven brothers, I'm just 3 years older than Danny. So Danny is the last of the brothers. He was the baby. And out of that seven, he made it number five. Five has passed on. And these are the other 3 sisters out of a family of 12. I have 2 other sisters that's passed on. So out of a family of 12, that's why I'm calling here for. Let me say also my humble respect to his seniors at his workplace. And so much everybody have talked about with Danny. But me and Danny, as brothers, we grew up very, very, very close. From Tablan, school, coming up in town, actually living together in a one-room apartment and working. Danny started to work in a clock shop with all that education. And Danny started to work that, and I myself, and we said that we're going to start from there. And everything was very, very positive of him. I sat there, and since Friday to now, the amount of lives that Danny had touched, I don't know where he make that time from. Because after his seniors talk so much of his dedication in his work, where did he find time with his family? And all of this, I don't know how he managed all of that. Very, very great individual. And all my brothers and sisters, we came from a very, very humble home. And when I listen to news and I listen to social media and seeing what is taking place, we are a family of 12. Government service. My eldest brother had worked in the government printry. And everything that Danny Sr., Mr. Paul has talked about, everything, or even of my eldest brother, Roopnarine, in government printry. Senior, dedicated, each individual, all of us, that was very, very a strong base from our parents with what is taking place with families right now. And I always say that Danny, I didn't know what to say on Friday morning, because every time I come up here and I park the maxi, I'll check my sister next door, my 2 sisters, and I'll call them and I'll say, Danny, we gotta look for the car. I said, Danny, I come in. And Danny will never talk to me from upstairs. He'll walk down the step and we'll walk down in the yard and we'll hug each other. With the social media, that's how we connected. And we'll WhatsApp each other and all of that. And look, he even had his WD group, AA group, every Thursday for 8 o'clock. Sharp, Danny there with his group. And you'll always tell him, Mohan, even though you're walking on the road, you're welcome. Come and join with us. Really, 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 with his family, very, very strong. Everything that makes success, it will never happen if you don't have a strong foundation. If you're building a house, it's the same thing. If that pillar, that very post is not strong, it's going to collapse. And that strength, that foundation with his family was excellent. I just don't know how he managed all that time and space to do all those activities. And on top of that, never find himself in other negative things. He always in positive things. And very, I'll use the word, very humble. Never, I never see him vex. And he'll reach out to you. Wonderful brother. Just that it hurt me. It really, really hurt me when I got the call that Friday morning. So with that, I have a song. We always meet together over the years. Me and my brothers and them, we always have a get together, Lyman, together as a family, and we have so many different tunes, so many different songs we should always sing. So this morning I want to sing a song. I want to sing a film song to my brother.
You ready?
चलते चलते मेरे ये गीत याद रखना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना। चलते चलते मेरे ये गीत याद रखना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना। रोते हंसते बस यूं ही तुम गुनगुनाते रहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना। याद करते करते हम तुम कहीं खो जाएंगे, इन्हीं बहारों के आंचल में तक के सो जाएंगे। याद करते करते हम तुम कहीं खो जाएंगे, इन्हीं बहारों के आंचल में तक के सो जाएंगे। सपनों को फिर भी तुम यूं ही सजा के रहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना। चलते चलते मेरे ये गीत याद रखना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना। बीच राह में दिलबर बिछड़ जाए कहीं हम, मगर और सुनी सी लगे तुम्हें जीवन की ये जगह, बीच राह में दिल भर बिछड़ जाए कहीं हम मगर, और सुनी सी लगे तुम्हें जीवन की ये डगर, हम लौट आएंगे तुम यूं ही भुलाते रहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, चलते चलते मेरे ये की याद रखना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, रोते हंसते बस यूं ही तुम गुनगुनाते रहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, चलते चलते मेरे ये की याद रखना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना। And you know, all with Danny, all the various activities, everything Danny is. I will call Danny. I will just hear a particular song and I'll just send it to him. And Danny will quickly say, "Oh gosh, boy, tune. I'll call you back later. I'll call you back later." And that is how we still operate. Didn't have the much time of communication. Thank you all so much on behalf of the Roopnarine, the entire Roopnarine family, myself, my wife, my children, and my sisters. I have one elder brother, he's not here present, but the support from since Friday, this house has been packed from since Friday to today. And I always say, as the gentleman just talked before, looking at that alone will tell you that individual. I thank you all so much. Sitaram, good morning.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Respected seniors and everybody are watching. You know, everybody heard a little history about everything. Just two words. I watching Daddy there lie down, and he in a different uniform. I mean, like, you know, not in regular clothing, like you will go and you will shop. But you know what ran in my mind earlier on this year is that he told me something that I never even remembered. He said, Raj, you remembered when I did the president's exam, and I got the letter, I passed. I had no clothes to go to the appointment, and I walked in by you, got dressed with my husband's clothing, and walked out, going to the appointment. Walk back home, change the clothes, and come back home. And like I just forget that clean, right? And I'm watching today again, I'm watching him go in another uniform that he went to, and he had grace and really respect and grace in the service. So to all the seniors, all the members, everybody who attended, Danny, you'll be greatly lost. All of us have to go someday, but sometimes you'll feel like you have to question God. Maybe you're going a little too early, but who are we to question? You do you, and we'll always love you till the day. Always been our memory.
Good morning, everyone. It's the first time I'm speaking in public, and I never believe I would have said. I just had to say a few things. Michelle, Ajay, Priya, Danny, love all. Morning for over 5 years, I go to work with him, and he just can't. All kind of topics we talk about, from politics, sports, work, but he love all you, and he love all you dearly. He always say, it's I'm working hard, and whatever I work for is for my children. I don't set them up. My retirement now is for me and my wife. My house and my money, that is for me and my wife, not my children. Good. And I want me and always love all you. I want to thank the peace and love his co-workers, his colleagues, especially in procurement all day, whole morning when we going down, who saying about them, who bringing this fame, who doing that. It's always about love. And I just want to say briefly also, my niece had said she had lived here. I had lived here. This whole house was just so open like this side. Danny built this side, took me and my daughter in. Over 14 years, I lived here when I separated. He bring me, my daughter, the two nieces, my mother. That's to show you his love for family and how he cared and make sure all of us was there. And even in his last year, we always talk and joking. And everybody, but all of us who know us, know my dad, well, I'll just say he's a special guy. Danny tell me, he's a Vids, when I retire, I'll go bring him, I'll go bring him and keep him. I said, Danny, sure? Yes, I'll go keep him now, I'll go keep him. That to show you how he had, he's seen nieces and nephews. My daughter, she was a father figure and a pillar in her life. Always advising them correct. Even if they make a little lie, he would say, take it easier, don't take it, but all you have fun. He always, all those windows were cracked, even remain there, all that is when they play cricket in his yard. He and Michelle never had worries. We really love him, and I'll miss my brother. I'll miss him. Danny, I don't care what nobody's saying. I'm not letting you go. I'm not letting you go.
So thank you for all the speakers here today. And I mean, at the end of it all, I mean, like Uncle Mohan said, like Vishnu said, like Shane said, Mr. Ford, everyone from his department said that man was a really genuine man, and we don't understand how he got the time to bless so many of us. But he did. Maybe that's why God take him a little early. And to be honest, I know all of us here a little bit jealous because we were like, oh gosh, God, you could have keep him a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer, I was like, the day, it's like, I was like, God, boy, I love you plenty, God, I serve you, but a little bit longer, But I guess we don't get to make the final decision, God does. So at this time, I'd like to offer everyone a viewing of Uncle, and we'll wrap up in about 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, because we're a little bit pressed for time. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. Yeah, okay. So we can come around, view the body. There is also a book to sign. And we'll pass it around as well. So feel free to find that book, put condolences, support for Anti-Mission Day. Probably could get a little bit of music in the background there.
Yeah, yeah.
pressed for time. Right. So those who are not able to view here, definitely we can also have a viewing down at the cremation site. So I'm gonna have Mr. Rajesh. I'm gonna have Rajesh do a closing prayer.
Yeah, I want it out. That's- Brethren, kindly bow your heads and close your eyes for just a few minutes as we approach the throne of God. Heavenly Father in heaven, we come before you today with heavy hearts and minds, committing our brother, father, friend, colleague into your hands. We ask you to bless the soul of Mr. Roopnarine. Take charge of him from here as you did it in earth. We ask you as we continue today's proceedings, may it happen without fault or folly. Bless each and every individual here, and may they go back to their respective homes at the end, safe and secure. We thank you for having associated with Mr. Roopnarine in this life. We thank you for the blessing of having to know him in various forms and fashions. And we ask you now to take charge of his soul. And as we close, we ask your divine mercy and blessings upon today's proceedings. This I pray to you in thanksgiving in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right. We will also end with the serenity prayer.
Morning, everyone. I know this will be touching to all our AA guys, all our AA family members. So let's just concentrate on the God of your understanding. And maybe you all say this, and Danny, this is, you're a great guy and a great mentor. So let's say it, our serenity prayer. Everyone, God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, and wisdom to know the difference. God bless Dan.
Thank you. All right, let's wrap up there. Yeah. Today.
The mood.
They've dropped the camera until they move the tent. You can't see nothing anyway, so just hold it and get people. And they're not really saying anything. No, they cover it with flowers, basically. I